This is now Africa 24. Africa is no longer waiting for permission to define its digital destiny. The continent is moving with a quiet certainty, building its future with deliberate hands and unmistakable purpose.
For decades, the idea of a connected Africa felt distant, something spoken about in conferences, written in reports, and locked behind long-term aspirations. But today, the landscape has shifted. The era of fragmented markets and disconnected digital systems is fading. A different Africa is emerging, one building its digital world not with noise, but with discipline and intent. Across the continent, leaders speak less about possibilities and more about delivery. For years, discussions about digital growth circulated endlessly, while real progress inched forward. But now, a new rhythm fills the air, steady, practical, and unmistakably focused. Instead of grand speeches announcing distant goals, Africa is quietly constructing the digital foundations that will shape life for the next generation. What makes this moment extraordinary is how subtle the transformation feels. While the world debates, Africa codes. While others issue over-polished statements, Africa's engineers, ministers, and innovators are linking systems, aligning policies, and building platforms with long-term resilience. Digital identity systems are being deployed. Cross-border payment solutions are being woven into daily financial life. Government services, once tied to queues, papers, and delays, are being rebuilt for speed, accessibility, and reliability. None of this comes with fanfare, but the silence itself signals seriousness. This time, the mindset has changed. Africa no longer sees digital progress as a competition or a trend. It sees it as survival, strategy, and opportunity. Real challenges, business barriers, slow paperwork, banking limitations, lack of access to essential services, are finally being addressed with real systems. When a continent builds without shouting, transformation becomes inevitable. And beneath this quiet determination lies a digital future preparing to surprise the entire world. That shift became undeniable at the Transform Africa Summit. What once felt like a gathering of dreamers suddenly transformed into a workshop of builders. Gone were vague promises and distant visions. In their place, timelines, prototypes, working tools, and leaders who spoke as if construction had already begun. Ministers discussed deliverables, not metaphors. Innovators showcased functional systems rather than hopeful concepts. Every room carried the energy of urgency. Africa had run out of time to waste, and leaders knew it. For the first time, countries spoke as if they were collaborating on one massive continental project: digital identity, cross-border payments, data exchange, cybersecurity. The tone was unified, firm, and entirely focused on execution. This was not a conversation about what Africa hoped to become. It was a declaration that Africa was already building. A major pillar of this transformation is the continent's push toward a single digital market by 2030, a goal that once belonged to imagination, but is now under active construction. Its meaning is profound. In this system, an African citizen will work, travel, transact, study, and access services anywhere on the continent with the same ease as within their home country. Digital identity will function across borders. Payments will flow instantly. Services will scale continent-wide. For individuals, this means simplicity. For businesses, it creates one of the largest unified markets on the planet. For governments, it replaces isolated progress with shared momentum. Africa has made its intentions clear. It does not want to depend on others for its digital systems. It wants ownership, technical, political, and economic. And by acting as one market, Africa gains negotiating power on the global stage. Investors no longer see 54 separate markets. They see one connected digital powerhouse. This shift grows stronger because African countries are aligning their digital projects in a way the continent has never seen. For years, each nation built independently. Kenya strengthened fintech. Rwanda developed digital identity. Ghana focused on interoperability. Nigeria fueled the startup ecosystem. South Africa expanded its cybersecurity frameworks. All powerful efforts, but each moved like a separate stream. Now the streams are merging. Countries are connecting their systems, sharing knowledge, standardizing approaches, and reducing duplication. If one nation builds something effective, others no longer start from the beginning. They build on top of it. Instead of 50 separate digital strategies, Africa is gradually forming a single digital architecture. This alignment creates trust, efficiency, and long-term cooperation. It transforms scattered efforts into a continental movement. This momentum also reflects a deeper reality. Digital technology is no longer optional. African governments now view digital infrastructure the same way they view roads, electricity, and clean water. A nation cannot grow if citizens stand for hours in queues for services, if businesses drown in paperwork, or if students lack access to digital learning. Technology has become essential to survival and progress, not entertainment. When governments treat digital systems as real infrastructure, they invest differently, long-term, at scale, and with accountability. Across the continent, cross-border digital systems are already emerging. The most important among them is digital identity. In the near future, a person will be able to prove who they are anywhere in Africa using one secure, continent-ready identity. No repeated registration. No paperwork migration. Just instant verification. Payments are also connecting, enabling people in one country to send money to another instantly through digital wallets. Governments are building data exchange systems that allow them to share information securely when necessary, improving services and supporting businesses. These connections remove friction. Friction is what makes everyday life difficult. Extra forms, new registrations, high fees, long delays. A unified digital environment wipes away these obstacles, opening pathways for small businesses, students, travelers, and workers. A startup in Kenya can reach customers in Ghana, Botswana, Tanzania, or Côte d'Ivoire without learning a dozen new systems. A student can apply to a school abroad without navigating layers of bureaucracy. A traveler can use their digital wallet anywhere. This is not just modernization. It is fairness, giving ordinary Africans smoother, faster, less stressful lives. Africa's partnerships are also evolving. In the past, many partnerships existed only on paper, press releases, photos, promises, but no impact. Now governments demand real work, real deliverables, and long-term involvement. Partnerships must build skills, strengthen infrastructure, support startups, and solve real problems. A new culture of accountability is replacing old symbolic agreements. Africa is choosing partners who respect sovereignty, support capacity building, and recognize Africa as an equal, not a passive recipient. And with this shift comes the rise of digital sovereignty. For too long, Africa's most crucial digital systems, from payment networks to cloud storage, were owned or managed outside the continent. While helpful, they left Africa dependent, data exposed, and progress limited. Today, Africa wants control. It wants its data governed on African soil, its cybersecurity shaped by African realities, its digital identity, cloud systems, and payment infrastructure managed by African institutions. This does not reject global collaboration. It demands equal partnership, not dependency. As internal strength grows, the world is reacting. Global companies that once dictated terms now compete for partnerships. International conferences add Africa-focused sessions. Investors see opportunity in African startups because they can finally scale across an entire continent. Some foreign powers welcome Africa's rise. Others feel threatened because a digitally strong Africa cannot be easily influenced. But Africa is not seeking approval. It is earning respect through structure, alignment, and execution. And when Africa's digital systems fully connect, identity, payments, data exchange, cybersecurity, something historic will occur. Africa will no longer negotiate with the world as scattered nations. It will negotiate as one digital power, representing over 1 billion people. Global companies will follow African rules. Investors will treat African innovation as global innovation. And Africans themselves will feel the shift, thinking beyond borders, seeking opportunities across the continent, and moving with a shared sense of possibility. This is the foundation of a new era. Africa is not announcing its arrival. It is building it, quietly, steadily, and with unshakable purpose. The world will not be able to ignore what comes next. If you want to follow Africa's digital awakening as it unfolds, not in theory but in real systems reshaping daily life, make sure you're here for the next chapter. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us as we uncover the rise of a continent preparing to step into the digital world not as a follower, but as a force.